face.
Yeah, oh, please. Nobody cares. I almost did no face. Are we on yet? What's going on here? I'm hitting refresh. Oh yeah, looks like I'm live. Hi everybody. Oh shit. And I'm getting echo. Oh my god, I'm so discombobulated. Hey everybody. I hit refresh. Yeah, refresh. Refresh. All right, back in Berlin. As you can see, I am back in Berlin. Come on, just.
No, I will not.
Okay, wait, just okay. There we go. Do you remember this? Do you remember the? Oh wait, yeah. Hold on, wait. Let me try this again because I have not been able to do this in 2 months, where I'm in the middle of a stream, particularly maybe the weekly meeting, and I'm like, I'm a little parched. Beer lady, and then the disembodied hand comes in and hands me a fine German beer. We are back on the Jupiter Gatling saved me some Rothaus Pils, Tannenzapfel. Was? Tannenzäpfle.
Yeah.
Tannenzäpfle.
Kinda.
Just mumble it real fast. Like you're imitating a German from a movie. I did notice that if you I try to speak German and then it just sounds horrible, right? And then it's like, no. And then I literally just try to imitate every German character from a movie ever. And then suddenly people are like, oh yeah, no. That's much, that's besser. Das ist besser.
You mean like I talk with a fake American accent?
Well, it's true. With Jupiter, it's like, yeah, but people don't understand you, and you suddenly just harden all your R's, and then suddenly.
I don't know. You say this should be a hard R. This is the softest R, shapeless R ever.
No. Think about it.
Rammstein speaks a hartes R.
Okay, that is a hard R. No, okay.
This R is not hard.
Okay.
It's just like a potato.
But
it's like a potato tries to chew gum and it says R. That's what it sounds like. It's not hard.
But it's different than the proper British. There are R's in both of those words, but you would never know it because proper. No, it's proper.
No, I speak like the Germans.
Proper.
Proper English.
Oh yeah, come on, just lean in and say hi.
I have a hand.
Oh, she doesn't have her face on.
I have a face.
I didn't have my face on for really up until about 5 minutes ago, and then I was like, oh fuck, why did I agree to this? Why did I you guys? I am so out of it. I am so jet lagged, which I knew I would be. I mean, a big surprise. But I'm jet lagged, weird sleep schedule already, and I was just I really just want to chill. I've been going so hard, not hard, for 2 months solid, uprooting my life back in San Francisco. And what you want a little sip of beer?
I just like giving it back.
Oh, okay. And wow, I just want to fucking chill. And instead it's oh fuck, I've got a live stream. Fuck. And I even agreed to do tonight's for whatever reason. Okay, so tonight, actually this weekend, let me tell you what's going on this weekend on the Booty Mashup channel, just in case you haven't scrolled down and looked at our schedule that I update religiously I may not always remember to change the go live notification or the stream title, like today with poor Fox Sound Sit and Spin. But thank you, DJ Time, for fixing that. But I always, it's my little Sunday ritual that when we're done live streaming, I wake up on Sunday morning and I update the schedule with our new whatever the new stuff is that's coming up. So if you have not already done so, let me tell you what's going on this weekend. So tonight is #FreeBritney Mashup Party. We've been throwing Britney Spears mashup parties for years now. And of course, the documentary Framing Britney Spears just came out on Hulu, which unfortunately, I need to get used to this. I need to get used to the fact that it was like, things that I used to be able to easily do in America, like I have Hulu for free through my Spotify account. So I was just like, it's on Hulu. Okay, no big deal. Well, I was so busy last week that I only managed to like watch half of the Framing Britney Spears documentary. And I just like fell asleep. So I was like, I really want to catch the second half of it. And I know it's only like barely an hour long too. I'm like, DJ Time was very adamant that before I DJ the Britney Spears night tonight, I really need to watch this documentary. And I really wanted to watch it too. You know, for those who don't know, it's all about how basically Britney Spears is essentially trapped in a conservatorship. Did I get that right? Basically, she is no longer in control of her life, her finances, her livelihood. It is all under the control of her father. So yeah, Britney is totally getting screwed over, DJ Time. And DJ Time, thank you for basically getting me up to speed. I would have loved to have seen the second half, but I land in Germany, fire up Hulu, it ain't working. It's not working. I was like, that's right, Jupiter told me about this. I need a VPN. No big deal. I've just moved to Germany. I'm going to, just add that to the list of things an expat needs to survive in another country. And one of them is definitely a VPN. And I even signed up for Critical Role is always pimping out, NordVPN. So let me just get the, whatever their discount code is for Critical Role, the Critical Role discount code, order up my NordVPN, and I could not get it to work. I was on tech support last night, back and forth. I got it to work for like a hot second, and then it was like, oh God, I'm so tired. I got jet lag now. And closed my laptop. When I opened up my laptop and it reconnected, I could no longer get it to work. On the chat again with NordVPN, and they're like, this person, instead of like trying to try this, try that, this person was just like, he'd already given up. I was like, yeah, it doesn't really work with that streaming service, so we'll just give you a refund. I was like, fuck yeah, Smash Color, I'm finding that out. A lot of streaming services block VPNs to prevent people from seeing stuff not available in their country. Yes, if you don't know what a VPN is, that is exactly what it is. Thanks. Frustratingly, a VPN, I thought a VPN was basically supposed to prevent that. And, I know how, I just got a text from my bestie. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So, I got a little bit of my deposit back for my place in San Francisco. Many of you, I never really showed it. I mean, I showed it on 2 episodes of the weekly meeting where I did Cribs Part 1, Cribs Part 2, where I basically did an apartment tour of my lovely, lovely, beautiful former apartment. So if anyone saw that and remembers, I had all the walls painted. The bedroom was just completely like floor to ceiling, every freaking surface except basically the ceilings were painted red, like this deep blood boudoir red. And so needless to say, I was a little worried about whether or not I was going to get any of my deposit back. And as it turned out, I actually did get some of it. They only charged me $175 for like cleaning, even though I left the place clean. When you live at a place for 7 years, there's obviously wear and tear. So I was originally bitching about it. My friend Yaya's like, girl, shut up. You already won. You painted that entire place and they're not charging you to repaint it. But then someone else in my building told me that if you've lived in the place for more than 4 years, they won't charge you for repainting because they will repaint anyway. But anyway, so that's it. So Sire Eric says NordVPN works for everything except Prime Video. But see, that's the thing. I need it for Prime Video. I need it for Hulu. It's frustrating. Plus, Jupiter already has NordVPN. I forget for what, something we wanted to watch. But yeah, I'm going to have to fuck around with it and kind of see, because there's like a whole bunch of US content that I'm gonna be frustrated if I'm not able to see. So anyway, I actually have no idea what happened in the whole second half of Framing Britney Spears, but from what I understand, from what DJ Time explained, basically Britney Spears is screwed. She's stuck. She can't get out of her conservatorship. Is it conservatorship or conservatoryship? I'm out of it. So fucking out of it. Anyway, I'm actually looking forward to DJing tonight because conservatorship. I think I know so many people who have gone to the San Francisco Conservatory of Music that just when I say conservator, I just want to end in a Y at the end of a conservatory, but no, conservatorship. Thank you, Superior Seed. Anyway, and yes, she is trying to get out of it. And what's really, really interesting about all of this is the documentary isn't necessarily about Britney's conservatorship. It's actually about the fans really getting behind her and being like, hey, wait a minute, this is fucked up. So from what I've seen of the documentary, at least the first half of it, half of it's really about the fan base that have kind of rallied to support her. And definitely we hear, Booty Mashup has always, loved pop music, and you can't appreciate pop music without giving a tip of the hat to the career of Britney Spears, who certainly had a much longer career than a lot of her contemporaries. I mean, you think of that late 90s, early 2000s pop scene, we're talking Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, Christina Aguilera, Ciara, really about the only person I can think of that really had a career, that kind of started around that time period. Well, shit, actually, I was going to say Rihanna, but even Rai, she kind of started after Britney. So anyway, so she's always worked with really great producers. Certainly has had a long storied career, and it's sad that career can now basically no longer continue because she said she's not going to record any new music until she gets out of her conservatorship. So anyway, we are definitely we are gonna stan Britney Spears tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I remember the first time we did a Britney night. It was always like Britney versus whoever. I think the first one was Britney versus Taylor. It was like Battle of the Blondes, and that turned out to be one of the biggest booty mashup parties we'd ever done. Actually, I think it was the second one that we did. The first one went well, and the second one broke a record. It broke a record until the following month when Beyonce versus Rihanna actually beat it by 100 people or something. But anyway, so we know that our audience has always loved Britney, and sadly there have not been as many Britney mashups as say Madonna or Lady Gaga or several other pop divas that seem to have a lot of their acapellas out there. But there's been a lot of bootleg remixes. We're gonna dig deep. I'm gonna go crazy. It's I love curation. A lot of you know that I put together a lot of the mashup zip packs that I send to the DJs, that I send to our Patreon. Not this month, but everyone, all my DJs, everyone who supports us on Patreon, don't worry, you are getting double the content in March to make up for the dearth of content in February. We didn't even do a top 10. Not even a booty mashup top 10, which Jupiter Gatling was supposed to do, and then she ended up with like just a ton of work landed in her lap. And as a lot of you know, if you are a freelancer, like you know, it's often, you know, freelance life is often, you know, feast or famine. So when you get jobs, you grab them. So she, you know, when she said, I was like, oh, I want to do the booty mashup top 10. I think it was when she was basically unemployed. And then all this work came in the past month, which is great because now she has to support both of us. Yes, I get to be the, well, I don't know. You call it what you will. I'm either I'm the housewife in the kitchen. I'll cook and clean, but I don't actually work to make money. Or I'm the deadbeat roommate. I think I'm gonna be a little of both. I think it's gonna depend on the day, but definitely since I've been here, I've been the deadbeat roommate. I did, today was a major accomplishment. I unpacked the suitcases. I didn't unpack them very well, but they did get unpacked mostly. Yes, exactly, Jupiter Gatling. Nobody made me dinner. I know. And I'm a closet domestic. Actually, I'm not even that closeted about being a domestic. Yeah, wait a minute. That's right. I did make I made a light lunch. That is what I did, which was merely hours ago. So I'm obviously still on California time because it's past midnight. I'm going to complain a lot. I should really not complain as much. I'm happy to be here. I'm lucky to be here. This is a just chatting stream today, by the way, you guys. Nothing planned. I'm just here in Berlin, trying to make sense of my life. There will be a lot more content coming out, though. Like I said, we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be putting out double the theme albums. We might get like a top 20 instead of a top 10 for March, since I missed February, or maybe I just bug Jupiter and get her to do hers. DJ Time wants to know, how was the flight? What kind of airplane were you on? Oh my God, you're all into airplanes. You're like, you've become one of those transit geeks, which is a thing where people really geek out on like transportation systems. Yeah, it was fine. Turkish Airlines. It was like about half crowded, I would say, or half. What was the plane? Half empty or half full? It was. There was basically one person, or one seat in between everybody. Nobody had a full row. And you know, it's like I'm quarantining here in Germany for it's 10 days is the requirement. It's a requirement according to like the German government website, but it's not like anyone's, you know, coming and knocking on your door to make sure that you're quarantined. So it's definitely like, you know, quarantining on the honor system. But yeah, it's it was fine. You know, I've noticed, I gotta say, I was so like Howard Hughes germaphobe, scared, freaked out, like hyper careful for 8 months. 10 months, really, I would say 10 months. I would say until I went back to California, and it's like, well, fuck, I've got to go run this errand and do this thing. I got to go do this thing. I've got to go from SF to LA to deal with this shit. I got to go. I was like, it was 2 solid months of dealing with shit. And so it was very hard to, I quarantined for basically 10 days after I got to San Francisco. But like as soon as that 10 days was up, I was doing tons of shit at my house. But after that, I was everywhere. And I've gotten really good like, I still do all the things. I wear the mask. I really walk. I see someone coming towards me, and they're not vectoring away from me. I'm walking. I'm walking into traffic. Like, I swear I was gonna like get hit by a car. The number of times I like walked into the street, especially. I was back and forth with Chinatown a lot because my place in San Francisco, the one that I own and that I Airbnb, is in Chinatown. So there was a lot of errands to run in Chinatown, and Chinatown's weird. Chinatown is such two things. It's Chinatown in San Francisco is the most densely populated neighborhood in San Francisco, and it's also a huge tourist destination. So on the first count, the street that I live on is all like the vegetable and fish markets and lots of markets. So during the day, that street is just craziness. There were so many times where I would like literally walk into the street to avoid walking through, a crowd of people, and it's like, but of course traffic moves slowly anyway, so it wasn't like I was going to die. But 1 block away, if anyone has been to San Francisco or seen pictures and tourist guides, it's Grant Street. Grant Street's like the main drag of Chinatown. There's like red lanterns hanging, and it's just all the cute Chinese restaurants, all the shops, all the tourist shit. It's so weird. There's like nobody on the streets. Like everything's closed. And it hasn't reopened yet, because I think they know if like they reopen, then it's just gonna Chinatown was hit fairly badly at the beginning of the corona apocalypse. So they've been pretty good in Chinatown about like just trying to be safe. So like Grant Street, all the shops on Grant Street never really opened up. It is eerie as fuck. The whole cliche of crazy crowded Chinatown is still in existence on my street because it's all the locals. But 1 block away, it's like everything's closed. There's like the few random tourists walking around like in the middle of the street taking pictures, but it's like, it looks like a scene out of like, a post-apocalyptic film, really. So yeah, anyway. But I've had to like run around like crazy to do shit. And so it's eased me a little bit. Like it's interesting because it was like, okay, I'm not living myself in lockdown as hardcore as I was, but yet I still need to stay safe. I still need to remember to like, do all the things. But it did make me realize that, you can be safe without necessarily just being cooped up in your house 24/7, which is sort of like how I'd really been mostly living my life this past year. So, it was like in San Francisco, went on lots and lots of walks. I mean, it was mostly walks due to necessity, but because I don't want to get on public transit if I don't have to. So I'd be like, okay, well, this is going to take 15-20 minutes longer to get to wherever I need to go, but at least I'm outside and I'm in control of who gets close to me and stuff. So yeah. Yeah. Just catching up on the chat here. Plane spotting. Choose height. Choose a window or aisle seat. Choose your meal. Choose a channel. Choose screaming kids keeping you awake for 14 hours. Oh my God. I will say that was the nice thing about... It always seems like, I fly between San Francisco and Berlin a lot, or at least used to. And Turkish Airlines always has like tons of families traveling. Because I would always fly to Istanbul. So, I don't know. It was just like just always a lot of families. And so it was always screaming kids. Not as much. There was one across the aisle from me. She wasn't like super little. She wasn't like she was like maybe, I want to say 4 or 5. So wasn't like screaming the whole time. Basically just watched a bunch of Pixar movies and then came over and kept like, kind of poking me a little bit. And then eventually went down for the count with a nap, so I was fine. But also, I know how to travel. I've got my white noise or my brown noise and my AirPods. I actually watched a couple movies. Oh, So yeah. So you guys, I moved to Berlin. This is so fucking weird. It's so weird. I have lived in San Francisco for nearly 30 years. So I was like, we started Booty Mashup in San Francisco. I think of Booty Mashup as such like a party that really came out of the eclecticism of the San Francisco club scene. It wasn't a queer party. It wasn't a straight party. It was like this. It was a mashup, you know. It wasn't like it wasn't posh. But it wasn't like super down and dirty either. It was like just such a weird mix of, you know. We would get like I used to say that Booty Mashup was like the Noah's Ark of nightlife, because you could, you know, you show up at a Booty Mashup party and there's like literally two of everybody. It's like, oh, there's two hip hop kids, there's two basic bitches, there's two goths, you know, there's two you know, kind of like, you know, posh yuppies, there's two tourists, there's two gays, you know. It was like such a mix, and to me was very emblematic of this intersectionality of San Francisco culture. Two tech bros, thank you, Jupiter Gatling. Yes. So two burners. So yeah, and so it was like Booty was the party that like everyone. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. You know those. It sounds super generic to describe it this way, but there's the you know, there's those radio stations sometimes where their tagline is like, you know, the music that everybody in the office can agree on, or something like that. And I do sort of feel like there's at least something for everybody at a Booty Mashup party, and because it's all mashed up, it at least you know, it challenges people's preconceptions of what the music they thought was. You know, it's like, I'm going to be playing Britney Spears tonight, but I'm going to mash her up with Papa Roach. You know, it's like, oh, so the rockers are like, fuck yeah, Papa Roach, and then it's Britney, but then the pop girls are like, Britney, wait, what? You know, and it's like, I love that energy, and so much of exporting Booty Mashup to different cities, and certainly here on Twitch has been to me has always been rooted in this very eclectic San Francisco vibe, because the party started in San Francisco, you know, super queer friendly, but not necessarily exclusively queer, which that scene, there was actually an article in, I want to say the SF Weekly, it might have been the Bay Guardian. Anyway, one of our local news weeklies did a big article on post-gay, and I loved that. And they kind of like, you know, spelled it out as being like a very San Francisco thing, but that it was also happening in other cities like New York, LA, Seattle, incidentally, all cities that we throw Booty Mashup parties in. But where you know, the concept of like, well, that place is a straight place. It's for the straights. And that place is a gay bar. It's for the gays. And like, never shall the two meet. And now we very much live in a, you know, post-gay world, is what they were kind of like, you know, the case they were making, where, you know, straights go to a gay bar. No big fucking deal. And conversely, gays will go to a straight bar, you know, straight, and is also no big fucking deal. It's like, you know, it's not like culture is not as segregated anymore. And so yeah, like, oh, Jupiter Gowling, I love that story. It reminds me of the 3 tourist girls in Vegas dresses going out on a Monday because somebody sent them to DNA, because they're always open, and they ended up at Death Guild. Those who don't know, Death Guild is a goth club. And yeah, I was there that night. It was like these 3 super, you know, like blonde hair, when you go to Vegas, there's all these girls and like wearing their little tink shoes, and they're like the dresses that are too short, and they're constantly going and it's like a strapless top, which is always falling down. So it's like a whole night of doing this, right? Walking around, tink shoes, and like drinks, and yeah, they had a great time though because and again, speaking of like the eclecticism of San Francisco scene in general, and you can see this in not just Booty Mashup, but also like burner culture burner culture I feel has gotten to be more of a thing, like a more defined thing, but ultimately burner culture was like a whole mix of it was like the anarchists and the hippies and then like these people that are like technology is gonna save the world, and then there's like the the yoga bitches, and like that was the burner community. It was still like sort of like this mishmash. And the goth scene as well. I mean, there's a very robust goth scene, but it's not as purist and pretentious as I've seen other cities. So I've always felt like, obviously I love San Francisco. I mean, just listen to me, like, fuck, city of San Francisco. The tourism board should hire me, right? But there is like been this idea of trying to export this this intersectionality, this cross pollination of pop culture and scenes to other cities, and yeah, so I'm gonna miss that. But Berlin's amazing in its own right. Although I will say, what makes Berlin amazing right now is all completely closed. Berlin's actually still in a pretty severe lockdown, like a more locked down than San Francisco is right now. Like in San Francisco, things are opening up a little bit, because COVID cases are down. Whereas here, like right after the holidays, just like everyone predicted, everything spiked. So Germany kind of went on a fairly hardcore lockdown, and like I could not even board a plane without a negative COVID test, even though I was going to Istanbul first, and Turkey didn't necessarily require it because my final destination was Berlin. They would not let me on the plane in San Francisco without a negative COVID test, and you have to have that COVID test within 48 hours. So I was like, oh, I'll just get it in Istanbul. So it's like the most recent one. I've got 15 hours to kill in Istanbul. No, Turkish Airlines would not even let you on the plane because Germany's being very strict. And it needs to be, right? Because it's still a thing. And unbeknownst to me, like I've been saying, everyone's like, oh, you'll Germany's smaller than the US. You'll probably get vaccinated quicker, all of that. Apparently, the whole vaccination rollout here in Germany has been a shit show. I didn't know that. Jupiter just told me. So, Jupiter Gatling says, hairdressers and flower shops are back open. I love that flower shops are like somehow like a category unto its own where, oh, but it's okay to have the flower shops open. Oh. So, yeah, I'm curious if I'm actually going to be able, like the way I'm looking at it is I'm definitely focusing on Twitch and going to be doing more stuff and going to try to like I've got a bunch of ideas now that I'm here, and once I kind of like finish unpacking, put the house a little bit back in order, post all the shit to, our Patreon. I've got a couple long-term projects that I want to do because I have a feeling I'm really not going to be able to DJ in a club even over the summer. Jupiter Gatling, the house is in order. Oh no, it does not meet my exacting standards. It is actually clean. It's clean. Her stuff's in order. I think it's just my stuff, really. And the kitchen. The kitchen's all like, the kitchen's very much my domain. And right now I kind of like don't know where anything is. I open up the fridge, I open up the cupboards, and I'm like, well, I didn't put any of this shit away. I don't know where anything is. It's like, I need to like, I'm sure the kitchen's fine. And yeah, SK Barnett, the cooking stream is going to happen. I've been loving doing the cooking streams. I've only done 2. But they were really fun, and I've been I'm hoping not living in San Francisco and paying rent. There is that. That is one really good thing about not living in San Francisco, actually, is I'll be able to save up for a laptop. Although I just checked macrumors.com and they said, definitely do not buy a MacBook Pro right now because they're just about to put out a new one like in a few months. So anyway, I'm hoping that I can get a new laptop because what I would love to do, I'm sick of DJ Time giving me shit about my low res quality streams. He's over here, got a PC laptop. No, I'm like, isn't a website like Mac Rumors supposed to always say that? No, not at all. Actually, they basically have red, green, yellow. On whether to buy stuff. So if a new iMac just came out, they're not going to recommend, wait until the new one comes out. No, it just came out, and they kind of track how long it's been, what the product cycle is, and they've mapped out everything over the history. It's like, traditionally Apple, puts out a new update on their product line and depending on the product, every year, every 2 years, however many days it's been. So then when it starts getting past what the average number of days are, they're like, you might want to hold off. Okay. The Admiral Luck, this is literally what I was just reading about. The second generation Apple Silicon. Yeah, so I guess the Apple Silicon is going to be their own chip. It's not because they were originally, it was the Motorola Power PC chip, which I just found out is this 23-year-old chip is actually what's on the Mars Perseverance rover, because that technology is so motherfucking rock solid. They had to house it in, radiation shielding and everything else. But the Mars Perseverance rover is basically the same chip that was in your Apple Mac, 23 years ago. But then Apple changed everything from PowerPC to Intel chips, which is the same as PC chips. But now I guess they are developing a new chip, which is supposed to be even better than a PC chip, DJ Time. I know you want to lure me to the dark side, but I have been a disciple of Apple since 1984, since that very first fucking Macintosh. And I was just like hooked because, I like design. I like a design of all kinds, not just like print design and pretty, user interface design, but industrial design. And just like there is a streamlined smoothness. There's a beauty to the design of Apple products. And yeah, they really, really, really piss me off a lot. This is like the plight of every diehard Apple fan, where it's like, it's the same as like liking a band, but occasionally they put out, an album with questionable artistic choices. So it's what you do with a PC. On a Mac where you're stuck with Mac shit. Look, I'm not gonna. And yes, Eric, it's true that 1984 Orwellian commercial. It's legendary for a reason. It did definitely have that. Like think outside the box mentality. And actually, I'd always use, like, even in grade school, we used Apple IIs. That was like, I was learning how to program on an Apple II. Or let me rephrase that. I was attempting to learn how to program. Like, I'm one of these people, it was like I am living proof that just because you really like something does not mean that you can or will ever be good at it. Like, I love computers, but I just do not have a head for coding. Or really kind of like any technical stuff. Like I can deal with, hooking shit up, and I can kind of like, fumble my way through dealing with tech stuff. But like the real hardcore tech stuff, like actual coding, I tried it. I love space stuff. I love space. When I was a little kid, I was so into space stuff. I knew stars and planets and the model numbers of every spaceship, every rocket, and all that trivia and shit. But then when it actually came to like math and physics and actual sciences, I struggled in school. So it's yeah, like I said, living proof that just because you like something does not mean you have to be good at it. I love architecture. I've often kind of thought about, like, I have this, this weird, it's not really a fantasy, but it was just like more of a running joke with myself. It was like, when this DJ or nightlife career kind of like has run its course, I'm going to go back to school and become an architect because I love architecture. But again, architecture, isn't it like a lot of like math and science ultimately? I mean, there's design involved, obviously, but you need to build a building that's ultimately going to be able to stand up and not fall down because physics. So, yeah, probably won't be doing that. Thanks everyone for being here, hanging out with me. It is just after midnight here in Berlin, and normally I would be popping some pills and trying to sleep, just to try to get myself onto a normal schedule. And speaking of normal schedule, I know I hinted that that my streaming schedule was going to change on this channel due to being in a time zone that's 9 hours away from California. And I don't want to live, on California time while I'm in Berlin. I know Jupiter Gatling has no problems with it. It made me very, very depressed last time when I was here. It wasn't so bad in the summer because the days are very long, but as it started to get into fall and winter when there's only like 6 hours of daylight and I was sleeping through all of it, I was no joke. I was miserable. It's like, and I kind of felt weird. I felt guilty for feeling depressed and miserable. It's like, oh my God, I'm in another country. I'm with the person I love. So many people wish they could especially when like Trump was in office, wish they could have been not living in America. And here I was, and yet I was just miserable and depressed. And I don't want to go through that again. And so I think it really has to do with being on a normal-ish Berlin schedule. No, when clubs are open, normal Berlin schedule could be something entirely different. But I like daylight. I like going on walks and stuff. So yeah, it's good to be in tune with what's good for you. That's right, Strumpling. And so yeah, I don't care if I'm not going to get the primetime glory sets on Friday night with like 200 viewers or whatever. It's like we've got plenty of other people on this channel that would love to do that, and I'm really about like just I'm gonna do my thing. And so I guess I'm here to announce. I hinted that I was going to be stealing, not stealing, but taking over Airson's time slot for happy hour. And in fact, we had originally planned that today would be Airson's very last happy hour set because I was going to take that set. And then I got here and I'm realizing, that set still starts at 1 o'clock in the morning, goes until 4 in the morning. I still don't want to I don't want to do that. So, oh my God, bro, man, maybe God can help me. God can help me with what? with getting on a normal sleep schedule? I don't need God. I know what you're doing. Anyway, I'm perfectly capable as a human being to get on my own sleep schedule. So, what is a normal sleep schedule? Yeah, well, that is true. But the thing is, I discovered you know, like during the past 2 months, like I was kind of like my circadian rhythms were way the fuck better. Bromand, first of all, I know what you're doing, and oh, you're cute. Do you want to talk about it? You normally my mods just immediately ban people like you, but I very specifically told them that when people come in with kind of why mod no ban me, I know, right? Because I told them not to. I told them that when people come in and like give me shit for being transgender, like, you know, which apparently you are doing, that I don't want to ban you. We can have a conversation. Well, by calling me dude, that's definitely a bit of a like, oh, I clocked you, like I'm not already out as transgender, you know. So you know, so and if you're transgender, then you should know. Well, you know. Yeah. You know, I used to be okay with dude because dude to me was a very, like, I'm from California, as I mentioned. Dude was almost like this non-gendered, like thing. Because everyone was dude. It's like, dude, hey, dude, you know? Well, yeah, bro, man, you can't say calm down. Words, it's a fucking word. Words have power. Words have meaning. I mean, you say you're Arabic. If I go and talk shit about Allah, you're going to fucking freak out. And I could be over here being like, it's just a word. Calm down. So, no, this goes both ways, you know? But yeah, strumpling, I totally use dude as like a non-gender term. I've kind of like phased it out a little bit. Every now and then I'll be funny about it. Like Jupiter and I will be like, dude, you know? But yeah. But especially when you come into a chat, like, and you're taking over like you are, and then you're like, dude, then it's we know what you're doing. It's like, oh, hey, you clocked me as transgender. You know what my birth gender is. Whippy do. It's like, okay, you made your point. So it comes off not as like, oh, it's just a word. You're being antagonistic. So, and don't try to pretend that you're not being antagonistic. You are. You know what you're doing. And none of us here are stupid. We understand subtext. We know how to read through these things. Queers especially are very, very in tune because queers have been getting like freaking persecuted, you know, probably since grade school. So we have a very fine spidey sense of when we can tell we're being fucked with, even if it's in a, you know, subtle subtextual way, but also in this particular case, there's nothing subtle about it, as Smash Color so eloquently puts. Yeah, but why trans? I know why. It's not like I chose to be trans. Trust me, if I could have been born either like totally cool with what I was, you know, what I was given, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Like, and not ever have to think about this shit. That'd be lovely. You know, if I could have been born cisgender female, fuck yes. But I wasn't. I was born with my brain all weird, thinking that I'm much more of a femme creature than what I saw in the mirror. So you know, like anything, I made myself, like, I definitely worked to get what I see in the mirror to align with what I see in my brain. So, yeah. And yeah, well, I'm not surprised. Look, hey, even in America, there are parents that would, if not really stone you to death, would want to stone you to death if you became trans. But fortunately, I'm now in Germany, which is, you know, just as progressive about, pretty much as progressive with transgender issues as California. So yeah, I did the best with what I had to work with, and I completely, it's an ever growing process. So, Brormand 30, or as we say in Deutschland,
Bromand Dreisen. You are welcome here in the chat, but definitely keep the trolling to a minimum. You know? Yeah, right? I know, exactly. Well, Smash Color, like I said, I definitely don't mind engaging a little bit because the only way you catch flies is with honey. You know, so and you never know who you're dealing with. You might be dealing with someone who's like trolling because they, you know, maybe have some subconscious queerness in themselves. And by only actually, maybe we should just, I feel like I've had the, you know, hey, Smash Color, do you want to do the honors? Burmand, you basically get one more chance. If there's one more out of line comment, oh, yeah, okay. Thanks, Jupes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I try. You guys, I try so hard. Like, you know, we don't get a tremendous amount of trolls on this channel. We don't get the random people. So I don't mind engaging. It's happened before on this channel where I'm able to turn it around. And they're suddenly like, oh shit, oh fuck, this freak, this you know, this queer, this, you know, transy, whatever the fuck, you know, they're actually a real human being and they're actually having a real conversation with me. Oh shit, I'm so used to just coming in, stirring up shit, and then getting banned. Oh fuck, what do I do now? You know, that has happened, like more than once. So I always try to turn it around, but. You know, you can't win them all. I really don't mind. This is how I try to handle trolls. You know, I'm safe here behind a screen. You know, they're not going to like stone me to death or attack me or anything. I mean, their words are just whatever, you know, but, yeah, it's like, I felt like I was kind of making some headway, you know, and like it was like, I'm trans. And I was like, oh, okay. Because that's always like one of those things when someone comes at you with like severe homophobia or transphobia, that's always like a big gleaming neon sign that says, doth protest too much, you know? Yeah. Well, that was the thing too. The whole "you need God" was sort of like, that's also. I mean that could be a totally different thing too. It's like I'm not a religious person per se, but you know, I understand that people have religion and it's a thing for people. I try to be respectful of people's choices, even if they are not in alignment with my own, because I want that same. I want that same respect and that same tolerance. It's a two-way street. So I'm definitely more of a centrist in that regard. But you know, yeah, we all knew where that was going. We tried. Thanks, Chatpod, for indulging me, and was trying to see where that would go. Oh, John Dagmat Mini, that would have been a good one. Yeah, my God says she loves you anyway. Oh God. Anyway, wait, Jupiter Gatling. Yeah, unless you keep telling people where you live. Like, I live in. It's right here. It's literally right here now. I live in Berlin. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna end up changing up schedules a little bit. I mean, I think mashup listening party on Wednesday will stay the same because that's kind of early in the day. But yeah, there might be like a lunchtime cooking stream or something, or whatever. You know, Jupiter Gatling, shut up. Here, I'm gonna write our address down so you guys can come visit us. No, I'm kidding. Jupiter Gatling would kill me. We live in a big apartment building. God, whatever. It's not like we live in a house on a street. Lexological. We are going to start the party in apparently 6 minutes. This is the for those of you who don't know, this is the weekly meeting. The weekly meeting is is our obligatory 1 hour of just chatting. Sometimes I have guests on the show. A lot of times It's just me. I'm the queen mother of Booty Mashup, and I just hang out, And trust me, I've seen enough fucking just chatting streams on Twitch that I definitely know this is a thing. Although a lot of the ones I've seen, it's like literally, I know I should be hotter and I should be wearing less clothes, and I should be like lounging provocatively on a bed, and doing a just chatting stream, but but instead, I'm here in front of a green screen, just sort of chatting about whatever. Oh, working out. Yeah, that's the other thing they do too, right? What are the other, I've been sort of collecting all the Twitch cliches. Next week is our 1 year Twitchiversary. And I would love to just sort of like go through a laundry list of like all the Twitch cliches, But I wish I had a hot tub to hang out in and stream. But this is also why I've been streaming a lot more on my laptop, which is why circling back to where I was going with I can save up money for a new laptop, because if I get a really fast, like this brand new laptop that's gonna come out in like a few months, and if I get that one and I max it out, because anytime I buy computer equipment, I always try to max it out so I can get as much use out of it as possible, which is why my iMac and my laptop are both from 2012. Actually, I think my laptop's 2013. But still, that's like, according to Apple, that's already technically obsolete. Like, apparently after 6 years, they consider all their computer equipment obsolete. But if, I could get a faster laptop, then I don't have to be chained to a desk with a green screen. I can stream from other places. I've been really, really enjoying that. Muffle Mug, one of our mods, when I did my first non-green screen set, she was like, wow, I really, really like not having a green screen. And so I'm definitely been doing quite a few non-green screen sets, and it's kind of neat. But I think what also makes it is like, you got to kind of keep moving stuff around. Like having the same, it's like, oh, hey, it's their house again with the cool LED lights again, and I think part of the reason I originally wanted a green screen is because we do a lot of theme parties, wanted different things going on in the background, but then the whole green screen thing becomes like a Twitch cliche in and of itself, of which this channel is immensely guilty of it. We are definitely like DJ Shy Boy, our resident DJ and manager of our Booty Mashup party in LA. Like at the beginning of all of this, when I was like, come to Twitch, come DJ with us, join us. I mean, you're already part of us, but join the Twitch crew. And he was like, I can't until I get a green screen. Like, because we were all using green screens on this channel, But yeah, stupid Gatling, I don't put as much in the overlays. I mean, yeah, I don't know. People really seem to want that cooking stream. I can't believe that. Actually, I was gonna say, how is it the person who actually really doesn't know what they're doing with cooking, like, does the cooking stream? But I think that's actually also sort of what makes it fun, because then people like, Guy Refford here could be like, no, that's not how you hold a knife. She's gonna chop her finger off. Like not knowing what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm still waiting for DJ Times, like chef stream. That would be like, because he's like a legit chef. Like that's where he makes his real money, So I'm definitely into trying out new things. Like I don't want to say I get bored easily, because I don't. I'm actually never bored, and I tend to, once I like something, I really stick with it. But I've been liking live streaming, and I've been liking trying different things. Like hey, what the hell? And I hope you guys do too. I know I was definitely multitasking over the past couple months, so you got to get live streams while I'm packing, and while I'm like figuring out what clothes I'm gonna bring and all that stuff. So anyway, thanks everyone for being part of the channel and coming along for the ride. Like I said, it's almost 1 year. Next week we are going to be doing our 1-year Twitchiversary streamathon. And basically starting from DJ Fox's, from the Sit and Spin with Fox Sounds, going all the way through Friday, through Saturday night, into Sunday. We will be doing a streamathon with all hands on deck, all 8 of the resident DJs, plus PDS Mix, who's basically sort of like an honorary resident DJ, even though he doesn't really have a regular show on this channel. He's definitely part of the Booty fam. So all of us are going to be like streaming. I'm probably going to be doing all the mashups. It's going to be crazy. It's been significant. 1 year on Twitch. And clubs are still not. Do you remember a year ago when I was like, oh, this'll last a month or two? Anyway, let me change the go live notifications so that I totally forget. Happy hour with Erson, and I believe Erson is going to be taking us on a road trip. So let's just add road trip, happy hour road trip with Erson. All right. Happy hour. Let's put an exclamation point there. Don't you love all the BTS stuff here, the behind the scenes? Let's change that to music. And yeah, let's get to the music. You've heard me yammering on quite enough. You're going to see me again in 3 hours. I will be bringing the Britney for the hashtag Free Britney party. And actually, it's going to be Fox Sounds again after me doing the second set for the Free Britney mashup party. So thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for joining me for the weekly meeting. Let me text Erson, and I will see you guys in 3 hours. Mwah. Hit refresh if you do not see Erson. Ciao.